All right, looks like we're all kind of settling in. To start off the evening, I'd like to introduce our superintendent, Dr. Brad Ritchie, who has a few words for us.
Good afternoon, everybody. Whether you traveled near or far, welcome to Milton-Union High School. Thanks for joining us. This is the 19th Hall of Fame induction ceremony. This is my 10th. And after I saw the first induction ceremony, I was all in after that. That evening was spectacular, and everyone after that has been spectacular. So this program, again, is one of my favorite annual events. It's so well coordinated, the planning, the setup. Anyone who has anything to do with pulling off this ceremony, thank you for your work towards that. Of course, tonight's inductees are the stars of the show. Congratulations to you and your families. Every year when we hear from our inductees, there's really three things that they mention: tradition, power of the team, and individual accomplishment. So I look forward to hearing our inductees this evening talk about the members of their teams and how tradition was a powerful motivator for them. Because tonight is also a celebration of our community and its traditions. So congratulations to our honorees, their teams who helped them along the way, and all the helpers that makes the Hall of Fame possible. So I say this every year, you are in such good hands. Doc Ginn is just a font of knowledge on just about everything, but especially Milton-Union athletics. So you couldn't have a better MC and person that's facilitating you through this evening. So thank you, Doc, for all your work every year. So I guarantee you're going to have a great evening. I love this place. I hope you do too. So thank you for being here. And once more, congratulations to all of you being recognized today.
Can everybody hear? If you can't hear, raise your hand a little bit. It's bad. You need it turned up. Can someone do that for us? Yeah, can Kyle do that for us? Okay.
I can hear you just fine.
Oh, well, thanks for that. Oh, let me raise this up a little bit. Okay, you know, I start this off every year the same way. It's about the same thing, but I have a little anecdote today because I'm kind of discombobulated. We had a girls' basketball game in Oakwood today, and I was hoping I would get to see the whole game because I do the stats for them, and make it back here. Well, karma was in the way because we got down there, and unfortunately, our team, our school does not have a JV team this year. They didn't have enough girls. So we have been afflicted sometimes with seeing two foreign JV teams play before our game. So, you know, you come to see the Beatles, you get somebody else, you know. So it was Stebbins versus Oakwood. So Joy and I went down and watched the game, and of course it went into overtime, and of course it went into double overtime. And then it was senior day, and Oakwood had 7 seniors. So I made it to halftime, and unfortunately we lost, but if I seem a little discombobulated, that's why. I've had the distinct honor of being the MC for the last 18 of these inductions, and I just want you to know how special this day is and what an honor this is for these people to be inducted into our Athletic Hall of Fame. Many of our Hall of Fame members are in attendance here, and I hope that you single them out and greet them and say hello. I know they appreciate it, and I know they like to see you. Every sport that Milton-Union High School sponsors is represented in the Hall of Fame. There are currently 80 former student athletes who have been honored by being inducted. And just a reminder, this is not a solemn occasion. It's a joyous occasion. We're here to reminisce, laugh, celebrate our athletes. So sit back, let's have a great time. You've met our superintendent, Dr. Ritchie. I don't know if there are any other administrators in attendance here tonight. I would like to, if they are, thank you for letting us use this venue. I also would like to special thanks to go out to Chris Fulton, who's been very valuable in helping us put this all together as well. It is important, and I make this announcement every year, that the Hall of Fame is not supported by the school. Our funds come from this banquet, some fundraisers during the year, but mainly by private contributions. Should you feel the urge to donate it to the cause tonight, see Ron Berner or myself, and we will be glad to take your money. I would like to take a moment at this time to recognize all of our current Hall of Famers who are in attendance, and I think I have all your names. If I miss you, please, raise your hand when I'm done, and I will recognize you. Diana Broombaugh Finfrock. Stand up, Di. Stand up. Melissa Marshall Vance. Terry Tyson. There's Terry. Sally Dickinson. Ron Berner. Hey, Ron. There he is right there. Mike Kelly. Hey, Mike. Margie Coate. Todd Berner. Dave Fine. Lori Kinnison-Meyer. Steve Broombaugh. Jane Winters. Rusty Berner. He might be preparing for the game tonight. John Broombaugh. Trent Thompson. Jennifer Ginn Thompson. Jessica Herkins Broombaugh. Ryan Paul. Casey Finfrock Matthews. Mark Lane. Alicia Hellman Penny. Scott Vagatus. And then I'd also like to recognize the following Hall of Famers posthumously. Ken Hemrick, William C. Ginn, Bob Schul, Bill Fox, Charles Fox, Watt Farrar, Carl Broombaugh, David Kripe, Ron Peel, Ed Lendensky, Dick Overla, Ralph Hildebrand, Bill Carnes, Rex Warner, Sharon Paul, Tom Gingrich, Tim Goins, and Chuck Green. So can I have a round of applause for all of our current and past? Did I miss anybody? Did I get everybody? Oh. All right, I think I speak for the entire Hall of Fame committee when I say how much we appreciate our previously inducted members coming back for this event. Often there's significant travel involved and it can be a real burden, but seeing you is a pleasure for all of us, and we hope you continue to attend and support the program. As we begin the introductions here, let's mention that the dual purpose of this Hall of Fame is not only to call attention to these memorable athletes that you see up here, but also to inspire new generations of athletes that maybe this will provide some kind of impetus for them to excel what they do, so at some point they'll be up here too. Now on to the introductions. To the newest Hall of Famers, I'm going to say a few things about each one of you, and as I say every year, if what I say is incorrect, you're welcome to correct me. However, if what I say about you is better than what you actually did, just go with it. No one will know. All right, and now on to the show. Our first Hall of Famer today, honoree today, is Phil Broombaugh, class of 1953. During his high school career, Phil earned varsity letters in 4 sports: football, basketball, baseball, and track. He was certainly one of the most versatile athletes that Milton has ever produced. He was selected to the All-SWBL team twice as a quarterback in football. In basketball, he ended his career 5th on the career scoring list, and at one time held the single game scoring record with 31 points versus Tippecanoe in January of 1953. He played on 3 SWBL championship teams in basketball and was a starter on a regional finalist team. He was MVP of his 1952-53 team as well. As a baseball player, he was an outstanding pitcher, throwing multiple no-hitters and averaging well over 10 strikeouts a game, and he led his team to an SWBL championship in that sport as well. A sprinter on the track team, he helped Bulldogs teams to a 1952 SWBL track championship. After high school, he attended the University of Illinois on a football scholarship as a quarterback, playing for Coach Ray Elliott. And I was going to ask you a question, Phil. Do you remember what number you were at the University of Illinois?
I couldn't hear you.
Do you remember what number you were at the University of Illinois?
No.
I had to dig deep for this one. 14. It was 14. His influence on Bulldog sports has been phenomenal. He is directly linked genetically to 6 Milton-Union Hall of Famers, and if you include his teammates and coaches, the number swells to more than a dozen people that were teammates or family of Phil. A truly worthy Hall of Famer, Phil Brumbaugh.
Good afternoon. I'm honored to receive this award. Since I'm 90 years old, and my motto is it's better later than never. So I graduated in '53, which is 73 years ago, and played football, basketball, baseball, and track. In football, we had a few things different then than what they are now. One of the things, probably the major thing, is the quarterbacks all call their own plays. So like here you had this 16, 17-year-old guy out there calling plays, and now the coaches call plays. Face mask started during my junior, senior year, and it was a bar that went across the helmet, and the safe catch on the kicks started in that era too, and I was interested in that because I used to run back the punts. We were, the football team was a running team. We won the Southwestern Buckeye League championship in my junior year and senior year. And in football, in fact, in football, in all 4 sports, we won the Southwestern Buckeye Championship League in my senior year. We won them all 4. And when we started, because some players graduated, like Bill Fox, Charlie Fox, there's a myriad of really good players that left off of our, that graduated. They thought we wouldn't win hardly any games, and we won the league game. So you never know. So go out and give it your best. And in Wilmington, we played Wilmington, and I threw 2 touchdown passes to Bill Fox. And we had, my senior year, we lost our 2 best halfbacks. We had none, so we brought a young halfback up to the freshman team. His name was Dick Oberlin, and he played halfback for us. Did real good. Maybe threw 2 touchdown passes to him, but he didn't drop them. Anyhow, we had a trick play that we played. Just did it once, but it was kind of interesting. When the defense went off the field and the offense started, there was 3 or 4 guys that went out. So at that time, Bill Fox went out with him and laid down on the field, and laid down back to the line of scrimmage, and hoping nobody would see him. And of course, all the ball, went back to pass, and there he was running down the sideline. And the defensive guys are going crazy because they couldn't get within 100 feet of him, you know. So I just lobbed the ball down there, he caught it, for a touchdown. And we had to tell the referees we were doing this beforehand, or they would have disqualified the play. But it did work, and it was a good play. And, so, what I did playing football, I listened him out. I played quarterback. I did the punting. I returned the kickoffs. I returned the punts. And I held the extra points for the field goals. And I played offense and defense. That was my job on the football team. And I loved every minute of it. Later on, I went to Illinois, played 3 years, and got an engineering degree and came back eventually to West Milton, started an engineering company. We were lucky enough to design the site work for the high school and the junior high. And that was special for me. You know, and being like raised in Milton and then getting to do that. And so in basketball, we were most known because we played on an undefeated basketball team. And we had some pretty good time with that undefeated team. Our basic game was pretty simple. It was we tried to run them off the court, and so what we had, what the coach had, Coach Cole had us do was what he called jollies, and that was a trip down the floor, back, down the floor, back, set of 4 trips, and we had to run them. 3 guys ran them. They had, full blast. If you didn't go full blast, you're going to run them again, and if you missed the layup at the end of the court, you're going to run it again. And if you missed the rebound of the layup to start it up from the trip back, you're going to run it again. So that was the way he had put us in shape. And that year we had a game with Roosevelt, which was undefeated at that time. And they had 3 big guys that the Dayton papers took a picture of them with their arms spread out, you know, side by side, arms spread out, and they almost went across our court. It was so, and anyhow, they were supposed to beat us bad. We were both undefeated about mid-year, and they came up here and we ran them off the court. That second half was pretty easy then, and so that's in. We got beat in the regional state qualifier by Cincinnati Winthrop, and we could have played better. We should have won, but we didn't. And we were playing before 12,000 people. It did bother us. I didn't think it bothered us, but it did bother us. To give you an illustration, I got the tip off. Bill Fox somehow they had a great big guy, and somehow he got that tip off, and it went to me, and instead of dribbling like I should have, I dribbled with 2 hands and just kept it going. I just tight, I guess, you know. And we had in basketball, one of other story I wanted to tell you about was we had a lot of teams that couldn't beat us. You know, they knew they couldn't beat us, so they'd come in and they'd stall. And they'd hold the ball and they'd pass it around. And they'd stall as good as they could. And in those days, it didn't. If you could hold the ball for 30 minutes, then that was okay. You didn't have to shoot it. So we had some games where the scores were pretty low. We still won, but the scores were pretty low. We had one game where somebody came in. I don't remember the team, but they were outplaying us and out hustling us, and they were beating us at halftime. And Coach Cole, had us all go down the locker for halftime, and he had a little clipboard, and he was holding it, and he was reading off what he liked and what he didn't like, and he didn't have much he liked. And the more he read off of it about what we're doing, the madder he was getting. And then he got really mad, and he took that clipboard, and he sailed it like a frisbee, and it hit the locker right above Bill and Charlie Fox's head with a splinter. And he said, well, go up there and play now. I can't tell you, we had no problem whatsoever winning that second half. So he got us going. And so in baseball, I was a pitcher, and I never really told this to anybody. So, but my goal, I couldn't hear what Bill Ginn had said, so I might contradict something I couldn't hear because my right ear is one I can hear, and the left ear doesn't hear at all. So. Anyhow, baseball, every game I tried to get 18 strikeouts. That was a game I played with, in my head. That was my goal every game. And out of 21 chances, there was 7 innings, three outs for any ass. And so So I had 3 no-hitters, and I had a couple other no-hitters that I lost toward the end of the game because of these darn strikeouts. Because the guys they were out of the game. Everybody was striking out, so they're just standing out there. The fielders and the infielders were just standing there, and we kind of got unfocused. And so I had one game where the fly ball was hit out in right field and it hit about 6 feet away from the guy, and he didn't even know it was coming. And I saw it go up, and I was screaming. He doesn't listen. And the other was just a pop fly down over the other infielder's head, and he could have caught that in a million years. And he just wasn't, he wasn't in the game. Daydreaming, I guess. One story I want to tell you about on baseball is this game, we had a 1 or 2 point lead, and on the 7th inning, first batter came up and I walked. Second batter walked. Third walked. And that brought Bob Long off his chair. He come on out there, and he was walking out there real slow, and I thought to myself, what is he going to say? You know, not like I didn't deserve it. I was wondering, you know, just a kid. And so anyhow, he came on out and he said, Phil, he said, we got to do something about this. He says, get it going, let's go. And he just turned around and walked back. And I sat there and thought about it a little bit, and I said, that's good advice. So that's what I did. I struck out the next 2 guys, and the third guy who was Sheriff, and why I remember his name, I don't know. But he didn't strike out, but he tried to bunt on, and we threw him out. And when we won that game, we went on. So that's one of the stories we had. And track, I ran a 100-yard dash, 220. Toward the end of the season, we went to Miami University, and I think it was regionals track for 100-yard dash, and that's what I was there for, qualified track to get the state. And there was a runner in the running the 100-yard dash named Horn, and he won the state that year. And in our race, I was sitting there, and I had sneakers on. That's what we had in those days. We didn't have track shoes. And I think he might have had track shoes, I don't know. But what we had was a center track. I just had sneakers on, that's all I had. And so I come out of there, and I was running as hard as I could. I mean, I gave it everything I got to go, to get started, get on top gear. And he just jumped out ahead of me. And he was 4 to 5 feet ahead of me before I was doing very much at all. And that's the way the race finished off. And so that's the way it ended. So and I was down at the end of the race, and one of the officials came up to me, and he happened to be football coach for Miami University. And he walked up to me, and we talked a little bit, and he says, tell you what, he says, I'll offer you a full football scholarship right now. If you take it. And I just a kid, and nobody offered me anything ever, I didn't even know how to react to that. I thought, so I said, I'll let you know. So that was it. So anyhow, we were to wind up. There were about 4 people I wanted to mention that were part of my career, athletic career. One was Carl Fobb. Brooks is going to be inducted tonight, so his family legacy is moving on. And all these poor people, it's that way. Legacy. 70 years ago, we're still moving through. And anyhow, Carl Fobb was, he helped build the baseball field that we had all played on. He helped put dirt in on a football field, made better. He helped do that. He organized it. He pushed things. He didn't really have to do it. He was just active. So another guy that was part of my life was Paul Kennison. Jim Kennison was a teammate of mine who played on a lot of the teams I played on. He was a good athlete. His daughter Lori, if you got an invitation to come here tonight, she did it. She's like a secretary. She's been active in the Hall of Fame. So he's part of it. Anyhow, and Paul Kennison was, he liked to catch. And in the summertime, I didn't really want to pitch with. I was pitching a lot of times with men's team that was city to city, or town to town. And so I didn't have any time to practice. So he'd go out with me about 2 times a week. And we lived on North Main Street, and we just go out the middle of the street. We never had any cars up there, and we pitched that. Pitch with him, and big thing about him, he was so good that he would, his back was to the south, which was going down Main Street, which is a hill, and it goes almost to the 571, that hill. And if he would have missed the ball, it would have gone a long way. And he never missed. He caught them all. Even when I got, I was throwing curve drops, fastballs, everything at him, and it was good. He liked to catch. So the Kennison legacy was moving through. There's another guy, my neighbor, right next to where we lived on North Main Street was Walter Steiner's son-in-law. I don't remember his name. But I know. And every time I get bored, I go out and shoot baskets. The basket was behind the house. Well, he'd come out and challenge me to a three-point shot type duel. We had 6 spots on a ring around the basket, and they were all long shots. And and we did this a couple times a week at least, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. He'd come out and challenge me. He loved to beat me. I loved to beat him, and we went at it all summer, late fall. And the reason this is important is that next year I broke the scoring record for the game just because I made a lot of long shots. And he started coming out on me because I was making long shots, and I could drive around and get a jump shot. That was my game. So, hey, that's how that worked. And then the last one I wanted to talk about was William Gibb. He was my basketball coach in my senior year, and he was captain of UD, I think, basketball team. And he was a tough guy. And when Cole left, he came, nothing eased up at all. It kept going. And one night I got sick with a cold, deep chest cold, and he had a game coming up that he wanted me to play in. So I came to the house, and he put a whole bunch of stuff on my chest. This is where God gets it right there. He just rubbed it all over me, and then they wrapped it up and everything, and he called it a Bolas. And I was, it made me feel good that somebody cared enough to do that, and that's what I did. And played the game, got through it, everything was fine. So those are the 3 guys, and of course, Bill Ginn got his talent for a doctor from his dad. about it, and it was a good time for my life. Thank you.
I hope we all appreciate how irreplaceable stuff like that is. And that's just right, next up is Bob Sowers, class of 1974. Bob was a very significant and successful three-sport athlete in football, basketball, and baseball, and even a little cross-country during his time in Milton. He came to Milton-Union in his junior high school years, and Northridge's loss was Milton's gain. He immediately established himself as a high echelon athlete. As he moved to the high school, he continued that same path. Bob played football as a freshman, but opted to run cross country when he was a sophomore. He returned to football as a junior, and all he did that year was become the starting quarterback, passed for nearly 1,000 yards, and was named first team All-SWBL at that position. He was only the fourth quarterback at the time to be elected to the first team SWBL at that point in time. He followed that by being named first team All-SWBL at safety the following year in 1973. He also surpassed 1,000 yards passing as a senior, and he ended his career #1 on the career passing yardage list. He was Milton's point guard in basketball for 2 seasons, and in baseball, he led his teams in earned run average. As a pitcher, he was named first team All-SWBL as a pitcher and shortstop in 1974. His baseball talent took him to the University of Cincinnati, where he made the team as a walk-on in 1975. He was loved and respected by his teammates, as evidenced by them electing him team captain in all 3 of his sports his senior year. This speech is particularly meaningful for me, as sadly Bob passed away about 2.5 years ago. He was one of my best high school friends and my constant teammate. We played the same sports, we captained the same teams, we rode together on buses, we drove each other to our summer baseball games. And as happens, we drift apart after high school. But with any good friendship, whenever we ran into each other, we picked up like we never parted. All of my memories of Bob are great memories, and preparing this speech has brought so many of them back to my mind. I am so happy he is being honored, as he is so deserving. Accepting for Bob's day is his brother, Jeff.
Hello, everybody. I am Bob's brother, Jeff, and I'd like to say it's a real honor to accept this recognition for Bob for his accomplishments and this induction to the Hall of Fame. I'd like to acknowledge his wife, Carolyn, and family and friends who've come out tonight to celebrate this occasion for Bob. Also like to congratulate all the other inductees and thank the committee for making this night necessary. Like Doc said, Bob's journey started here in Milton at 7th grade. That's when our family moved to this district. I can remember growing up with Bob. I was 5 years younger, so I was just a little guy, but we were constantly playing out in the yard, doing something, kicking the ball, throwing the ball, catching the ball, whatever the flavor was that day, or whatever ball we had, actually. But Bob was always trying to come up with schemes and different plans and different things to doing, and we had this little store down the road from us that, if you remember back in the day, maybe the younger guys don't, but they had these old pop machines where you'd take the soda out and get your pop, and there was always a pop bottle cap in there. So Bob got the bright idea that we would come up with this game called pop bottle baseball, or bottle cap baseball. So we'd go down there and we'd grab all these bottle caps, and they gladly gave them to us. But he devised this game where learning how to throw the thing was hard enough, but hitting it was even harder. But if you were able to put the bat on the ball, you got to run. And if you didn't, it was an out. And him and I would play bottle cap baseball for hours. And but that did create another problem because there was an awful lot of bottle caps in the yard. And whenever Dad mowed, they were flying everywhere. So until he came home with a big magnet one day, he had this, and I can still see it. It was this big blue magnet. It was about 10 pounds, and he tied a rope to it and handed it to me and Bob and said, "There you go." So we had to take turns cleaning up the yard of all these bottle caps. So I think that might have lasted one summer. We got tired of picking them up. But just like everybody else that time, there wasn't a whole lot to do. We had no video games. We kind of made our own games, and we played a lot of hoops out in the yard. Had this old gravel driveway, which was a challenge in itself, just trying to dribble. It was a damn ball would go here, go there, but you know, you kind of adapted to it. And Bob, being older and bigger, he would constantly back me down closer to the hoop so he could score. He was good that way. The only chance I had was shooting from the outside and just hoping that I was on that day to even have a chance. He would let me win once in a while, but I think that was just to keep me interested, so I'd keep playing. Probably the most fun I had with Bob, though, we came up with this thing. We would literally measure off 60 feet 6 inches, and we would pitch to each other. And the guy that was catching would give the signs and call the balls and strikes. And if you walked a guy, it counted as a run against you. And we would pitch literally 9-inning games, catching and pitching all day long. We didn't know anything about pitch counts or any of that crap. We just threw the ball and had fun. But I would say that Bob probably got his competitive nature from our dad. Our dad was a very good baseball player, very good in basketball in Northridge, which is where, like Doc said, that's where we came from. I think I started here in 2nd grade. Bob started in 7th. But I can remember growing up how competitive Bob was. He would he wanted to win in everything. He taught me how to play chess. Who plays chess anymore? You know, I won once. It was like the 3rd time we played, and that was just him throwing me a bone because there was nobody in the family he could play chess with. He had to keep me interested, so he let me win one. But that was Bob. Bob was always trying to get the upper hand on me, but he could do that because he was older. But I would say that everything Bob did, he did well. He was really a good athlete, and everything seemed to come natural and easy for him. He just seemed to have this smooth, steady calmness about him that really he just never got excited about much, but he was just fundamentally good at everything he did. I mean, the guy just made it look easy. He was a lot of fun. Bob was a fun guy to be around, and he enjoyed being around family and friends, and didn't matter if he was on the golf course, which he spent a lot of time at. He ran a lot of outings and ran some leagues, and he took to that a lot, and he hosted a lot of events at his house. We all used to go over there and watch the Buckeyes play. But probably the one thing I remember for Bob was that, you know, as a kid, you had pickup games and different things that way, and Bob always seemed to be that guy that was on the winning team. I mean, he just always was. And I'd like to say again that once again, Bob's ended up on a winning team for one last time with this accomplishment of being inducted. And I can't think of anything that was more deserving. And I'd like to say on behalf of our family and friends that it was a well-earned honor for him, and I wish he was here to be a part of it. But as his brother, I couldn't be prouder. And I will forever miss him and love him very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next inductee is Carrie Pinkerton Karshner, class of 1996. Carrie earned varsity letters in volleyball, basketball, and track while at Milton. Although a fine athlete in all of her sports, it was her volleyball ability that propelled her to her Hall of Fame status. When Carrie graduated in 1996, she was one of only 8 Milton players to have earned 4 varsity volleyball letters. She started an incredible 173 consecutive matches for Milton during her career. She ended her career 3rd in career blocks, 4th in career aces, 5th in career assists, and 5th in career kills, and 6th in career digs, certainly one of the most well-rounded careers in Bulldog history. She became Milton's 6th All-Ohio selection in volleyball her senior year. In addition to her athletic ability, Carrie used knowledge that she gained from being a volleyball gym rat, as her mother Sharon was Milton's longtime JV coach under Hall of Famer Sally Dickinson. She was underfoot constantly as a kid, and I remember Sally saying one time to her, "Carrie, you'll be playing for me when I get my 300th victory." And that came true. She was playing for Sally when Sally got her 300th victory. With all that exposure and her innate athletic ability, she became one of the smartest volleyball players I have ever witnessed in 40 plus years of watching, coaching, and now officiating volleyball. And as evidence of that, one of my favorite moves that Carrie would make, which I now call the Pinkerton maneuver, is that Carrie was a setter, and occasionally and for those of you who know anything about volleyball, there's a back row and a front row, and the people in the back row are not allowed to contact the ball and drive it over the net if they're above the net. They have to stay below the net. It's called a back row attack. Well, Carrie would occasionally have a back row attack, and she had this thing where she would kind of do it and then linger toward the net so that hopefully the official wouldn't realize she was in the back row until he was ready to signal for the next serve. So now as an official, when I see people trying to do that in my head, I think, well, there's the Pinkerton maneuver. At any rate, Carrie went on to play collegiately at Ohio Dominican University, where she led her team in serve receives with over 1,000 in both 1998 and 1999, set individual records, and was an All-American Mid-East Conference selection in 1999, leading her team that year in digs. Ladies and gentlemen, Carrie Pinkerton Karshner.
Thank you, Doc. I would like to congratulate all the other inductees today as well. Congratulations to all of you. And I'd like to thank the committee for choosing me. It's definitely an honor. And I would like to thank my family, my coaches, and my friends and teammates for all the support that they've given me throughout the years. A special thank you to Dickie, who let me be in the gym from, I think, probably the time I could walk, and never kicked me out and encouraged me to play volleyball. To Doc for always keeping the stats, playing with us, encouraging us, and making me a better player. My mom for allowing me to be with her all the time. And my dad, who videoed every single game all the way through college. I'd also like to thank my teammates. Because of my success was because of them. And the team that we had my 4 years, especially my junior year, was amazing. I think we graduated 13 seniors my junior year, and I was lucky to be their honorary senior with them. I'm blessed to have so many supporters in my family, teammates, and classmates. And all the support that I've had has been truly because of the teammates and the respect and the hard work that Dickie instilled in me. I am hoped to say that I have instilled that in my family and when I coached as well. I am blessed and very happy to receive this award. And again, I'd like to thank the committee and everybody else that was here, voted for me, put me through, and all my support staff. Thank you.
Our last honoree today is Brooke Falb, class of 2015. Brooke was a standout in tennis and basketball during her time as an active Bulldog. In tennis, Brooke spent 3 seasons as Milton's first singles player, ending her career number 2 on the career singles victories list. She was 4 times an All-SWBL performer, and 3 of those times was a first teamer. She earned her tennis team's MVP award, a record-setting 3 times, and led her team to 4 consecutive SWBL Buckeye Division championships. Her basketball resume is just as impressive. She became only the 3rd Bulldog female to surpass 1,000 career points at the time of her graduation. However, scoring was not her only forte, as she ended her career number 9 on the career rebounding list and number 6 on the career assist list. Incredibly, she was also her basketball team's MVP for 3 straight years and was named first team All-SWBL for 3 straight years as well. Brooke stood out with her strength and athleticism on the tennis and basketball courts. She was a steady leader for her Bulldog teams and had the distinct honor of being elected to our Hall of Fame during her first year of eligibility. Ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Famer Brooke Fall.
Sorry, I'm an emotional person. Anyways, okay. Thank you, Doc. What an honor it is to be on this stage right now. Congratulations to all the other inductees. Thank you so much to the Hall of Fame committee for this incredible honor and for all of your hard work in getting everything ready for tonight. Thank you extra to Mr. Ryan Paul, who I believe had a huge part in me being on this stage tonight. I got a call from Ryan back in April on a Sunday night at like 9 p.m. as I was putting my kids to bed. And my first thought was what tennis drills I needed to prepare to cover a practice for tomorrow and how he'd feel about me having to bring my 3-month-old and 3-year-old along with me. Little did I know he'd be blessing me with such a huge honor, but there is no one else I'd rather have gotten that news from than a Paul. So thank you, Ryan. A huge thank you to Doc Ginn as well. In filling out the forms and information they needed for tonight, I was stumped on the records held until I remembered we have the most incredible stat man in the land, Doc Ginn. My dad reached back into the archives, and I was looking at 8 books filled with an insane amount of records and stats kept. You do God's work here, sir. The dedication you have to MU athletics is absolutely unmatched, but so very much appreciated. Thank you for making me feel like a beast with your endless records kept. Although my mom likes to joke that she taught us everything we know about sports, the biggest reason I'm standing here today is my father. Some of my best memories as a kid are passing a football or baseball with my dad, or having a free throw competition, or seeing if I could ace him on the tennis court. Little did I know as a kid that my family business co-owner father would be exhausted after a long day of work, but I don't ever remember getting an "I'm too tired, not today" when I asked him to come pass or shoot or play whatever sport it was with me that day. We'd play under the moonlight after it got dark. We'd play in the heat, in the cold, early, late. My dad was always up for kicking my butt at anything, even when I got a little better and started giving him a few sports whippings back. Over the summers, every single weekday, and most weekends too, my dad would wake up early before work and take us kids outside to practice my 2 loves, tennis and basketball, or whatever sport I was in at the time. As a kid, I absolutely loved this time with my dad. I looked forward to it every day. I used to wish on those little dandelions that my dad would come home early that night so we could play insert sport here together. As a teenager, some days I would have rather went back to sleep, and a couple times I maybe did, only to be met with a "you're not gonna get any better slaying in bed." And I'd get my grumpy butt up because I knew he was right. As an adult, and especially as a parent, these mornings and night have a completely different meaning. This time with my dad, famously known as Daddy Boot Camp by Coach Paul, is the single biggest reason I'm here today. My dad taught me everything he knew, not just about sports, but about life. Hard work, it pays off. You can't just wish for it, you have to work for it. If you want to get better at something, work for it. If you want something in life, earn it, no excuses. I'm sure he was dog-tired morning and nights, but he never refused to wake up early or stay up late to help me put in the work to get better. Sports are one of my favorite parts of life because of him. He gave me the competitive edge to work harder and to want to be better, and most importantly, to enjoy every single moment I got to spend with him. The hard work, dedication, and time that man put into making me a better athlete is unmatched. Watching practices and lessons to be able to implement the same things with me in practices at home. I'll never be able to say thank you enough for everything he has done for me and everything he has taught me. He was my first and will forever be my all-time favorite coach. Part 2 of that thank you is the backbone of our family, my mom. She may not have quite taught us everything we knew about sports, but she sure was there for every single moment of my entire sports career, which means just as much to me. I can count on 1, maybe 2 hands the amount of games that woman has missed, starting from YMCA basketball, or G-ball or soccer, or whatever came first and beyond, which is insane. So many years of year-round sports practices and games that she drove me to and made sure I had a good meal before and or after, made sure my jerseys were washed, water bottles were packed, and homework was done. Pep talks before games or telling my dad to take it easy on me on the car ride home after a bad game. She constantly made sure she was moving work schedules or doing whatever she could to make sure she was there for absolutely everything. Again, you don't realize the amount of true sacrifice until you have a child of your own, and Mom, you're an absolute rock star. Words will never do justice the amount of sacrifices you two made for me, not only in sports, but life as well. But I promise you, they've not gone unnoticed. This honor tonight is for and because of you two. So thank you both from the bottom of my heart. To my first practice partners and, of course, competitors, my sisters Michelle and Taylor, without you two, I wouldn't be the player or person I am today. Always trying to beat each other on the court, but also always having each other's backs and supporting one another off the court. Michelle, thank you for being the pioneer and helping me find what my athletic passions were, or not, making me realize I wanted to play tennis just like my older sister, and also that I never wanted to be put in a cheer uniform again. Thank you both for pushing me to do better, and more importantly, always keeping me humble. After getting the call from Ryan about being inducted into the Hall of Fame, I immediately called my family to tell them the exciting news, and I remember my parents shedding a couple tears and saying how proud they were. And that was so awesome, and all the good parent stuff they have to say. And then I got to my sister Taylor, and she was like, "What's your exciting news?" And I said, "I'm being inducted into the Hall of Fame." And she said, "For what?" And I said, "Like the athletic one, like for sports." And she said, "Yeah, but for what?" Like I didn't have a single qualification to be able to earn this honor tonight. So like I said, thank you to both of you for always keeping me humble and not letting my head get too big. To my extended family, thank you guys for your incredible support over the years. I have the best aunts, uncles, and cousins that took time out of their own lives numerous times to come support me, and it means the world for you to be here not just tonight, but so many times throughout my sports career and life in general that you didn't have to. I truly have the best, most supportive family in the world, and I can't tell you how much you all mean to me. To the perfect family I co-created with an amazing man, Kyler Steele, thank you to Kyler, Lakin, and Stetson for teaching me what life is truly about. From the days of Kyler putting along to my basketball games on his little moped, to us now taking our own daughter to her basketball games, thankfully not on a moped, is a feeling I can't put into words, but it's the greatest thing in the entire world. Teaching my own daughter to play the way I was taught by so many amazing people, and watching her grow to love the same sports I fell in love with all those years ago is truly something special. Thank you guys for giving me this absolute dream of a life. I love you guys so much. Speaking of family, there's one coach that always felt way more like family than she ever did a coach, but not in the pushover, lovey-dovey kind of way. The kind that speaks her mind and doesn't care what you have to say about it because you and her both know it's the truth. The kind that will speak life into you, but not so much that you get carried away with yourself. The kind of coach that knows how to push you without breaking you, and the kind that knows the sport better than anyone you've ever met in your life. The only kind of coach that can build and absolutely dominate a tennis program for 37 years, never once having a losing record, and finishing with an insane final record of 509 and 159. A coach that was an MU Athletic Hall of Famer herself, was named a National Federation of High School Coaches Coach of the Year, and won an Ohio High School Athletic Association Sportsmanship, Ethics, and Integrity Award. I say all of this to say that this woman was a freaking once-in-a-lifetime angel here on earth, Mrs. Sharon Paul, better known as Coach Paul. I've never witnessed a coach live, eat, and breathe a sport so much as this incredible woman. If there was anything to know about tennis, she was your girl, but more importantly, she made the sport an absolute blast. She would make you work hard at practice, but we had so much fun doing it we didn't even notice. Even after 37 years of matches, she would remember and remind me of matches I had played that I completely forgot about years later and rattle off my scores like it was just common knowledge. She made sure we never had to ride the buses to games like peasants, but she wanted us to make memories riding in the team van instead. And she was right for it. We all bonded so much on those van rides. She heard more stories, good and bad, than she probably would have liked to hear on our way to the matches, and matches that ended not so great were pretty silent on the way back. On those good days, though, we'd stop for dinners or ice cream on our way back to the school after a match, and those are still some of my favorite memories of high school. From doing two-a-days to start the tennis season off right, to ending ending the season staying at a bed and breakfast the night before our district matches in Cincinnati. Sharon Paul was a legend not just for her tennis knowledge, but for the life lessons and core memories she made for us. She made sure we learned what needed to be done on the court, but she was more worried about preparing us for life as well. One of Coach Paul's claims to fame was gag gifts at the end of the season, and these weren't just random trinkets. These were well thought out, intentional things or stories that she had learned or experienced with us that always had us laughing at our end of year banquet. Coach Paul always teased me about the fact that I hated tennis skirts and refused to wear them unless we had a match. You could catch me every day of the week in my basketball shorts and a t-shirt for tennis practice, and she would always joke that the next year we would be getting beautiful tennis dresses and or ruffles and sparkles for our team uniforms. And I said, no way, I'll just find some basketball shorts that match in the same color and call it a day. Well, for my senior year gag gift, Coach Paul made these ruffled, sparkled uniforms happen in her own way. She had my mom snag a pair of basketball shorts without me knowing, and she had hand sewn her own ruffles and sparkles on them so I would be able to rock them at our final practices. Pre-children, I would have worn these beauties tonight, so instead I'll just hold them up as a tribute to one of the best coaches of all time. I could go on forever about this woman, but her and her right-hand man, Gene, always making his support and presence known at almost every single one of our matches, and their amazing son, Ryan, are what angels are made of. I can't tell you what an honor it was to be coached by such an incredible woman, but I thank God that I was blessed enough to know and love Coach Paul. You guys are an absolutely incredible family, and I am so blessed to know and love you guys. Another tennis and sports legend family is the athletic blood that runs through the Broomballs, clearly. I owe a lot of my athletic success to a lot of different broomball branches as well. From being coached by the amazing Coach Finfrock, who traveled all over to cheer us on at matches, or still practiced with us after flying all over the U.S. the day before and sometimes the day of, to playing in tons of tennis clinics led by Steve Broomball, being amazed at what incredible tennis players both Matt and Philip were during my time, and then getting the privilege to coach with Steve at some of his tennis clinics at schools around the area and at the Troy Country Club. Casey Finfrock was a WNBA All-Star to me growing up, and I may have gotten an autograph back in the day that I thought was the coolest thing I had ever owned. I was further amazed by what an incredible tennis player Shannon Broomball was in the years to come as I got the privilege to assistant coach her and my sister Taylor. Every single one of the Broomballs are absolutely incredible athletes, but they are even better people. It has truly been an honor to grow up surrounded by the Broomball family, and it only feels right to be inducted into the Hall of Fame next to a Broomball tonight. To the man that started my high school basketball career, Mr. Richard Klein, better known as Coach Klein. Coach Klein is the reason I hold any basketball records or really had any success at all in the game. Coach Klein saw me for what I was, a decent freshman basketball player that was a little too scared to shoot the dang ball, as he liked to say. I was always too scared of seeming like a ball hog or missing the shot and disappointing the seniors and or the coach that believed in me enough to start me on varsity as a freshman. But Coach Klein didn't give up on me and taught me one of the most valuable lessons in basketball that also turned out to be a huge life lesson. That it's okay to have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder on the court, as long as you keep your sportsmanship and integrity in the meantime, and you maybe lose it once the final buzzer ends, or not. This was a completely new concept to me. I'd always tried to stay super humble and maybe to a fault, but Coach Klein gave me the confidence I needed to be able to take the open shot and score the points that led to a 1,000+ point career. That never would have happened without him believing in me and instilling in me the confidence that changed my game. Coach Klein was again someone that cared just as much about us being good human beings and learning valuable life lessons as he did about us learning the game. I will forever cherish the team bonding nights we had and the delicious team dinners with Mrs. Klein's incredible dessert that we would rave over and beg for the recipe. Getting to watch your son's hockey fight on tape was also always an extra appreciated core memory. I will always cherish our time giving Junior crap, but also appreciating all the effort he put into being an equal with us girls and running every line drill or conditioning drill with us, so we had no reason to complain to him that Coach Klein was running us too hard. So thank you, Coach Klein, for believing in me even as a freshman and seeing something in me that I didn't see in myself, ultimately allowing me to be here tonight. I appreciate you more than I could ever put into words. To the coaches that finished my basketball career, Coach Roos, Coach K, and Coach Meredith, I truly would not be here as well without the time and effort you guys put into me in the last 3 years of my career. From Coach Roos letting us have a lot more fun than she maybe would have liked, to Coach K teaching us the newest drills or skills he had been YouTubing. To Coach Meredith, making sure our conditioning and defense were both in check, as defense wins basketball games, in his famous words. Coach K was another lead-by-example coach with running our conditioning drills with us, and it was truly appreciated. Coach Meredith would pop in with us too, but I think it was mostly to smoke us and prove he could still outrun any one of us at any given time. These three coaches put in a ton of time and effort, making those last 3 years count, and I couldn't appreciate you all more. I could say a million more thank yous to everyone that has helped me along the way, but I think we'd be here all night. Family, friends, coaches, teammates, I truly owe it all to you. It is an absolute honor to stand on this stage tonight and accept the insane reality of being inducted into the Milton-Union Athletic Hall of Fame, but I wouldn't be here without those mentioned before, among others. I thank God for this life and for surrounding me with the absolute best people in it. Thank you all for a night I will remember for the rest of my life. Go Dogs.
You know, I saw Brooke do so many wonderful and difficult things throughout her career, but by far the most difficult thing I ever saw her do was attempt to put a corsage on. It took 5 people to get her corsage on, and it still is kind of hanging off a little far. All right, for the first time, and I'll try to make this brief, but the first time the Hall of Fame Committee has chosen to recognize a team accomplishment. And it follows that the first team to be honored in this situation would be the first and only team state champion in the history of Milton-Union athletics, the 1910 basketball team. The story is incredible and funny. The first fact to realize is the 1910 team's championship was not an Ohio High School Athletic Association championship. The Ohio High School Athletic Association didn't exist till 1911, so it couldn't possibly have been. The teams that were in the 1910 state tournament were invited to be in the tournament. And the trail to the invitation began in December of 1909 when the team defeated the reigning Indiana state champion, which was Lynn High School. Lynn High School is now called Randolph Southern High School. After a loss in the season's third game at Bradford, the team went on a 16-1 tear. The only other loss they suffered that year was to another Indiana team, and playing Indiana teams back in those days was pretty common. They played the game and lost the game on a court, and I've checked this, that measured 90 feet by 14 feet. So it's like a hallway. And the other handicap in that game, at the time it was customary for both teams to supply an official to officiate the match, and we could not supply an official. So it was only officiated by the Indiana team, and they blamed the loss on that. The team defeated Steele High School from Dayton in the so-called Southwest Ohio Championship to win the invitation to the state tournament. In the tournament, which was held in Delaware, Ohio, the team had to play 3 games to win, all on the same day. In fact, they had to play 5 games in 7 days to make it to the championship. And in another odd twist, their coach, Elmer Gress, did not accompany them to the state tournament. He was a director at the Dayton YMCA, and he only came to West Milton to coach the boys in the games, and I guess he couldn't make it that weekend. The teams were assigned to brackets by drawing lots. The team drew defending state champion Mansfield, beat them, then played Plain City, beat them, and then dropped the host team, Delaware, to win the title. The trophy was supplied by Ohio Wesleyan University, and here's the trophy. Still in pretty good shape for a 1910 model. If you want to look at it, it has on the back, presented by Ohio Wesleyan University. So, on the return from Delaware via train, they were met by 3 traction car loads of fans, and special traction cars were made available to the team for the trip back to West Milton. The team was paraded from the high school to the downtown hotel, and this one just kills me. A wandering poet was in town. His name was Harry Stowe, and he went so far as to write a poem about the team, and I'll save you the poems, but it's got a lot of whereases and sups and things like that in it. The team members were Aubrey Furness, Elsie Long, Roy Furness, Aaron Idemiller, Tansy Circle, Frank Kress, and Ned Adams. And that is the story of Milton-Union's first and only team state championship. All right, several housekeeping items before we eat. We are having a 50-50 drawing, and some guys in the back will be circulating for the 50-50 deal. Half of that money will go toward the Hall of Fame, half will go to a winner, which we'll draw during dinner. After we have our invocation, we ask that all the Hall of Famers in attendance proceed to my right, where Scott Johnson is standing now. We'd like everybody over there to get a group picture. After that, we'll start